Beautiful land across the water. That's what the Indians called Chincoteague Island, and they were spot on, but the beauty doesn't stop there.
Cross the water on the other side of Chincoteague Island, and you have the Chincoteague National Wildlife Refuge on Chincoteague Island. This 14,000-acre wildlife preserve includes the Herbert H. Bateman Educational and Administrative Center and an interconnected 15-mile trail system. That is just the beginning of what we're talking about today. Welcome to DelmarvaLife Small Town Series, Chincoteague. WBOC meteorologist Mike Lichniak is in for Jimmy today.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon.
Hi. You know, this is not the first time we visited Chincoteague for our Small Town Series, but even though the land on the island only adds up to about 9 square miles, there's more to do and see than we can pack into an hour-long show.
I saw the first one and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what's to come this hour.
Now, you can't talk about Chincoteague without mentioning the iconic Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company.
And next year it will celebrate 100 years of serving the island. With the motto, Service for Others, the more than 30 active members provide fire and EMS services to a town of almost 3,000. In 2019, the fire company moved into a new firehouse after more than 80 years in its previous building. Residents of Chincoteague don't pay a cent of fire tax.
Yeah, much of the funding for the fire company comes from the annual Chincoteague Volunteer Firemen's Carnival and pony penning. Now, back in 1924, the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company held their first carnival to raise money to purchase a fire truck. The carnival included a pony penning day where ponies are rounded up and auctioned off. Now, this tradition actually dates back to 1835 as a way to control the pony herd. Those traditions stuck and served as a means to attracting thousands of annual visitors to the island. Now, today, the carnival is a special time where locals gather to catch up with one another, and visitors get to experience the quaint small town atmosphere. And of course, there are some Chincoteague Carnival food favorites. Oyster fritters, anyone?
Oh, yes, please.
The 2022 Chincoteague Volunteer Firemen's Carnival opens this Friday, 7 p.m. and runs through Saturday, July 30th. Now, proceeds from the carnival and other events not only benefit the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company, but the Virginia herd of wild horses on Chincoteague.
Yeah, a fence at the Maryland-Virginia line separates them from the Maryland herd. In fact, the fire company actually owns the Virginia herd that is made up of about 150 adult ponies. The fireman company treats the ponies to twice yearly veterinary inspections. On average, 70 new foals are born every spring on the Virginia side of the island. Wild ponies have inhabited Chincoteague Island for hundreds of years. There are two theories as to how they got there. Some have suggested that they are descendants from horses released to forage on the island by early settlers. However, there is stronger evidence that suggests that they are descendants of the survivors of the Spanish galleon, which wrecked off the coast of Chincoteague. Now that's cool.
That is a cool story.
Rounding up the wild ponies takes the expertise of the Saltwater Cowboys. Herding horses across open water is a challenge not found out west.
Saltwater Cowboys guide the ponies into the water for their swim from Chincoteague Island to the mainland. Now, keep in mind, these ponies weigh about 850 pounds each and create quite a stir churning the water as the crowd cheers. Now, most of the Saltwater Cowboys are members of the fire company. After the horses take a short rest, they are paraded down Main Street. A wonderful thing to see. Now, the carnival, wild ponies, and the annual pony penning first got international attention when the children's novel Misty of Chincoteague was published in 1947.
And that is a fantastic book.
It is. The book was inspired by a real-life Chincoteague pony of the same name. In 1961, the book was made into a movie. Misty was filmed in Chincoteague and on Chincoteague Island. Now, at the premiere showing of the movie on Chincoteague, the real Misty was led down Main Street and her front hoof prints were impressed into the cement in front of the Island Theater. Those can still be seen there today. Now, both the book and the movie brought widespread publicity to Chincoteague and Chincoteague and to the local culture, traditions, and natural beauty and wildlife on the remote and isolated barrier islands.
And that's why all these people keep coming back year after year for that pony swim. It's absolutely amazing to see.
Yes, it is.
Now, if you look closely, you can spot the famous Chincoteague Lighthouse in the movie Misty. The 140-foot lighthouse was built in 1867 and is still used as an active aid in navigation to this day. There is so much more to learn about the town of Chincoteague.
And that's why the island town has two museums. BB Ranch is an American horse ranch and museum located on Ridge Road. The museum focuses on Misty and her foal Stormy, featured in the novels Misty of Chincoteague and Stormy, Misty's Foal by Marguerite Henry. You can also check out the Museum of Chincoteague. It's located on Maddox Boulevard. Exhibits cover the entire history of the island from prehistoric times to today. The museum is also the home of the taxidermied bodies of iconic Chincoteague ponies Misty and Stormy. Other exhibits include the island's oyster industry, its maritime history, and of course the wild ponies.
Love it.
Love it. And speaking of museums, that is where we find Katie.
Our next stop is taking us on a trip through time. I'm Katie Zarilli, and coming up, we're headed inside the Museum of Chincoteague Island. And the stories in here are going to show you that this place is far more than just ponies.
Chincoteague also has an iconic downtown area. We'll visit some of the Main Street merchants to see how, from souvenirs to scavenger hunts, there's always something to see and do every single season. There are plenty of dining destinations to discover here as well. AJ's on the Creek has been around for decades. We'll meet the family that decided to build on an already beautiful legacy and call AJ their own.
And how about a front seat to Chincoteague's best show? We hop aboard DAISEY'S Island Cruises to get a look at the island treasures. We'll kick this small town series featuring Chincoteague into high gear next.
DelmarvaLife, stay with us.
DelmarvaLife is brought to you by Tidal Health. Better together, less duplication, more collaboration. The law offices of Tunnel and Razor, Spicer Brothers Construction, Gateway Subaru, A&A Companies, and Pam Price and Associates, Remax Coast and Country.
When you think about the island of Chincoteague, what comes to mind? Ponies, perhaps? Naturally. This place is so much more than ponies, though. Its history is rich, its residents have stories.
And that is why the Museum of Chincoteague Island is so very important. Its goal is to preserve the people, culture, and heritage of the island. DelmarvaLife's Katie Zarilli shows us what unique gems we'll find inside.
Home of the history of Chincoteague Island and so much more. The Museum of Chincoteague Island opened 5 decades ago to shine a light on the area's rich and robust oyster and seafood industry. And later, it transformed to showcase the entire town.
We represent ponies in here, we represent the Gilded Age in here, churches, education, fire company, bridges, decoys, you name it, outlaw gunners. The board just put out a call to the people of Chincoteague and said, what do you got? What's in your attics? What do you got that you might want to donate or loan to the museum? And this is what we have now.
Denise Bowden is a board member with the museum, and not to mention one of the most well-known faces in Chincoteague. A true Tigger, if you will.
That's what we call ourselves, Tiggers. Born and raised, marshmallow between the toes. Yeah, we're Tiggers.
Board member Cindy Faith's roots might not run as deep. She's originally from New York, but when she did get introduced to the island, it didn't take long for her to fall in love. Her mother began working here at the museum in the 80s, Cindy herself in the 90s, and the rest is, well, history.
I am a history buff, and I'm sure that came from being associated with the museum and my mother. And the Island Museum is such a great, I think, love letter to the community. So it is very exciting to see it evolve over the years and new exhibits coming up with new ideas. It's a lot of fun.
Some of those exhibits are what one might expect. Of course, Misty is a must.
This one horse, who's right here behind me looking over my shoulder, put Chincoteague on the map. Hope I look that good when I'm her age.
Other displays demand folks to think deeper and perhaps ponder that this place is more than ponies.
There were several Victorian homes on here. I akin some of them to like mansions on here. No longer exist. They're only in people's memories now or live here in the museum through pictures and everything. Our school systems, of course we got the Carnival and the fire company exhibit. We've had a lot of churches here on Chincoteague, so there's an exhibit on that.
Take a look at this. It's a first order Fresnel lens from the Chincoteague Lighthouse that was built in 1867. Now this lens allowed light to be seen for up to 20 miles. And if you ask me, it's a part of the museum that really shines. This dynamic destination doesn't stop developing. Take a look at this new, nearly complete exhibit that celebrates the 100th anniversary of the causeway and bridge, the gateway for this island's exposure.
These are real representations of some of the ferry boats that would have been bringing people to the island. It was a destination even back then, so people were curious and wanted to come to the island. So this is a typical boat that would have brought folks here back in the day. The model behind me is of the Killick Shoal Lighthouse, which was standing. It's a screw pile lighthouse. It was standing in the waters between Chincoteague and the mainland.
And if you take your time in here and look real carefully, you'll find the tiny treasures that celebrate the character of this quaint community.
So with Ruby Lee, who was such an iconic member of this community, she would always come down to the carnival ground early. She would bread soft crabs, and Ruby Lee was a special needs lady, and so she just wanted that little bit of recognition that she had done something. And so every night I would get on there on the PA system and thank her for her work at the carnival that day. And then later on I would call her to the flagpole. And there was only one Ruby Lee.
Along with developing the museum, the board is also aiming to grow its audience. That's why they partner with the Rhodes Scholar Program to offer educational experiences for participants. Denise says no matter who walks in, the goal for the way everyone walks out is always the same.
I want them to take a little piece of Chincoteague back with them. I want them to leave yearning for more. You can go anywhere in the world, you're not going to get the experience like you get at Chincoteague. The small town feel, the people, the food, the education here in this museum. We have a lot to offer, and I want people to keep coming back for that. I want them to be hungry for that Chincoteague experience.
An experience that's most certainly unforgettable in every way.
And Denise says they also have a scavenger hunt folks can fill out while they go through the museum for a little something extra.
I love doing little scavenger hunts.
I do
so
too.
For anything to do while you're exploring makes it so much better.
And I love to be competitive.
Me too.
All right, you'll find another standout on the island by taking a stroll down Main Street. That's where you'll find the historic Main Street merchants. Up next, hear how they work to add a lot of fun and a lot of foot traffic to Chincoteague.
DelmarvaLife's Small Town Series Chincoteague. We'll be right back.
There's no shortage of charm on the island of Chincoteague, and Island Butterfly Jewelry and Jubilee is no exception. The friendly staff, beautiful jewelry selection, coffee, wine, and more will have you coming back year after year.
A jewelry store and gift shop as enchanting as the small town in which it resides. Locals and tourists alike have been enjoying the eclectic selections and friendly company you'll find at Island Butterfly Jewelry and Jubilee. A Chincoteague native and active member of the community, owner Carla Landalt has curated quite a collection of unique items.
We carry sterling silver and gemstone jewelry, one-of-a-kinds, raw gems as well, amethyst, rose quartz, all kinds of stones that we go to gemstone shows to bring back. Some handmade items, local artists.
There's so much to explore in the store. Gems, jewelry, handmade art, gifts, and more. But that's not the only thing that will keep you coming back to the shop for years to come.
I think it's the feeling in the store. All the girls I have working here, they're great. You feel like you get to know them even in a short amount of time. And also our products, of course, that they're going home and loving them. And loving that our store is always different. We have new stuff all the time, lots of one-of-a-kind jewelry, unique items.
While the store may seem a little small at first, you'll need more than one lap to see all that it has to offer. As soon as you enter the store, you'll feel the love and warmth that's been poured into Island Butterfly Jewelry and Jubilee. Carla and her family will become part of your family, just as you will become part of hers.
One of the reasons I started my business was I am a mom of 3 kids, and I wanted to be able to have them with me as much as possible, and I still wanted to be able to make and create in the world and contribute to the community. So I do often have my 3 children in here, and my daughter was born the first summer we were open in the jewelry store, right before pony penning. But my customers also have watched my kids grow up, which is really neat.
The friendliness of the locals and the stunning views of the island may feel like they belong in a book or TV show, but the charm of Chincoteague and its shops is anything but fiction.
Chincoteague is unique in that I say when people come here, they come back again and again. It's a testament to who we are. We have small town charm. You just get a feeling you don't get other places that people have forgotten still exists, I believe, where it's a little bit slower and everyone's saying hi to each other and waving, and, you know, kindness kind of prevails, I guess.
And what better way to complement your shopping day than with a little wine and coffee?
So we bought the building that my jewelry store is in once I had been here for 10 years. I finally figured out how to buy it, made that happen, and then we purchased the wine shop that had already been existing next door. And we've been doing that about 6 years. We added our coffee to it. We have a coffee line called Java Horse that we love. We have awesome cold brew and awesome pastries and other things over there too. And we make custom gift baskets, and it's all come together really well. Both stores kind of complement each other, different times of the year. People are looking for different things, and when they come to one, they get to experience both.
Not only does Island Butterfly Jewelry and Jubilee carry the work of local artists, but they're part of the team as well. Store manager Cantley Merritt has some of her unique creations available in the store.
I have been an artist as long as I can remember. My mother is one as well, so it kind of came naturally. I have to have that creative outlet, and around here we have so many different things to choose from. It's just a wonderful area. There's so many talented folks. If you need a mentor, there's plenty out there.
Cantley creates some really special pieces, sometimes even using her environment around her.
I do sea glass and stained glass chimes. I also do large beaded window trees, small window trees. I knit, a little bit of everything.
And one of the things Cantley loves most about working in the shop is seeing how much fun the customers have.
They have a good time. They come in, it's friendly, there's no pressure. We just want them to enjoy what we have.
Just like Carla said, one lap around the store simply isn't enough. But wouldn't you rather explore and see for yourself? When you plan your trip to Chincoteague, Island Butterfly Jewelry and Jubilee is a must-stop shop. You're watching DelmarvaLife Small Town Series Chincoteague, and we'll be right back.
We've had a busy day so far exploring all things Chincoteague Island. It's about time to stop and sit down for a meal. Am I right?
Yeah.
Good news, we've got the perfect dining destination.
Located on Maddox Boulevard, AJ's on the Creek gives visitors the taste of both island flavors and flair. The restaurant was started back in the 80s by a set of sisters and just recently shifted to new ownership. DelmarvaLife's Katie Zerilli shows us why getting a table here will be a real treat.
A Chincoteague staple since 1985.
AJ's is a long-standing restaurant on the island, opened by April and Lisa Stilson with their father, AJ, in the 80s.
Decades later, Meredith Rank and her family discovered this dining destination upon discovering the island as a whole.
We heard about Chincoteague, the Ponies, Assateague Beach. We came, we fell in love with Chincoteague. AJ's was actually one of the first restaurants we ate at as a family.
She remembers the table at which they ate. Their family was so charmed by this community, they bought a rental property here. And when the restaurant went up for sale, Meredith had a thought.
So I called my husband up. I said, AJ's is for sale. And he said, don't get any ideas.
Too late. After thought, discussion, and prayer, this couple, one a nurse anesthetist, the other in the solar industry with two young girls at home, jumped in.
We do love food, as many people do, and it has been an adventure. I really feel like I can liken the restaurant industry to working in a busy hospital where you have customers, you have guests, and there are so many parts and roles and responsibilities.
When they took over last year, it was about building on an already beautiful legacy.
We kept so much of what they did, and we added a little bit of a spin. We brought some new items on to dinner, and then we also decided to bring a fun brunch to the island with mimosa flights, bananas Foster French toast. oyster Rockefeller omelet.
All right, of all the food here, I had to give the Bananas Foster French toast a try. This thing looks incredible. We've got bananas, pecans, coconut, whipped cream, and I added a little maple syrup because obviously we've got this nice bread going on. I'm gonna try to get everything here in one nice little bite. And when I say little, I mean big. Oh my goodness. The bread has like a nice crunch to it. The pecans make it perfect. The sweetness is like so perfect. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. Oh, that's so good. That's gonna start any day perfectly. That's gonna make any day perfect. Boom, get that. No surprise, this decadent dish is Meredith's favorite masterpiece on the menu.
So that was inspired actually by a family member, my Aunt Robin from Pennsylvania. Well, actually, she's in Jersey. She always made a challah bread French toast for all of the holidays and parties that we had. So it was fun to bring a little bit of that to Chincoteague.
Also fun, giving the place a facelift.
So we exposed the original concrete floors, we polished them, we took out the ceiling just to make it brighter and lighter in here. It's really fun, you know, when people come in just to notice, you know, from years past, wow, you changed it up, but it still feels like AJ's.
For those looking for an on-the-go bite, they can hit the Real Eel food truck, just 2 doors down on Maddox Boulevard.
So the Real Eel is a lot of healthy options. We have soba noodle bowls, shrimp bowls, veggie bowls. We have wraps, salads. We are also looking at starting sushi burritos, which is sushi in a burrito form, which is super exciting.
Almost as exciting as what Meredith's youngsters are learning through this experience.
They talk all the time about serving in the restaurant, being a cooker. That's what they call it, a cooker. Being a hostess at the stand, it's adorable to see. And I'm just excited to be able to share that with them as young girls, that we can do whatever we want to do with life.
And getting to do that here is something special.
It's beautiful, just the wildlife, how natural it is, being able to get a little bit of everything. There's pine trees, there's beach, water. It's just so refreshing to come to Chincoteague. It's like new life breathed into you every time you come.
So take that breath and then take a bite.
Meredith says they're working on a grab-and-go menu. The restaurant's open from March through December.
And a beautiful location.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, visit Chincoteague and stay. We're checking into the perfect place to do just that next. A lot of luxury, tons of reasons to relax. The Comfort Suites Chincoteague Island Bayfront Resort is our next stop on this small town series. Stay with us. Before the break, we visited the Museum of Chincoteague Island to celebrate the area's history and heritage. Of course, there's a heck of a lot of life happening in the town now, and much of it happens on Main Street, which of course has historical significance.
The Historic Main Street Merchants Association has the goal of promoting all of the life and beauty Chincoteague has to offer. They do this by engaging folks from near and far in every possible way. Let's head downtown now with DelmarvaLife's Katie Zerilli.
Skylar Reed was born and raised on the island of Chincoteague.
And I go back at least 4 generations here.
Like so many of us often do, Skylar spent her teenage years dreaming of leaving home, but she simply couldn't stay away. Now, it's not only home to her, it's home to her business as well. She opened Sandy Skies in 2019.
So I have, I say bread and butter items, but I also, the whole point was to do my art. So I do a lot of paintings, I make things out of oysters, ornaments, a little bit of everything, lithographs, screen prints. There's probably not an art form that I don't like.
Not only is there a heck of a lot to look at in here, the building itself is historic. It's an old shucking house, the location of which Skylar considers practically perfect.
Because if you take a right when you come off the bridge, I'm literally the first store on the island.
Both Skylar and Nicole Miller are board members of the Historic Main Street Merchants. Nicole's also in charge of hosting events.
We try to focus our events more in the shoulder seasons to help promote the local businesses and bring traffic to the area.
Not only do these events provide fun for families, they also give those folks the opportunity to venture into these businesses they might not have on their own.
It's really rewarding to hear everybody when they come through and they say, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was here, or I never knew this shop existed, or I can't believe, this accommodation has this, or whatever.
Those behind these businesses, according to Skylar, are craving connections.
Meeting new customers and like chatting about like the history and things, of course, but I think it's like a hometown feel.
I think a lot of people don't know about the Timothy Hill House. That is amazing, definitely something to even just drive by and see. That's located on Main Street. The love chairs are definitely a big thing, photo opportunity. So the brick pathway, Robert Reed Park is beautiful itself, but if you ever have something you want to, a birthday, a gift, something that you need someone that you can't buy for, you could always get them a brick. They can go on the path downtown and be a part of Chincoteague.
And if you head back to Sandy Skies, you might find a special souvenir of this charming community.
The cat's meows for all over the world, but I have them made for different businesses here on the island, which is cool. And some people have been collecting them for years and years and years. There was a store in the Village Mall, and I'd go up there at like the age of 12 and just look at all the buildings, and I thought they went out of business, and they didn't. So now I brought them back, which is super cool because people like to store them above their door frames and their window frames and put them in like order of how they are in town.
Skylar has one in particular that she says stands out.
It's just really special to me because my dad is a waterman here, and I had this made for him. It's a cat's meow.
For those with longtime family ties and those who discovered Chincoteague at a distinct time in life, the island's enchantment is the same.
I have been here since I was 15. I won't age myself, but I love it. I love the small town feel. I love the community aspect of Chincoteague. It's quiet, but there's enough to do, and it's a beautiful place.
A beautiful place they want everyone to experience.
Nicole says there are about 44 businesses that make up the Main Street merchants in total. That's amazing, 44 shops.
What a great way to spend the day.
Right, just go through each one of those shops.
We'll be right back.
We've seen many views on Chincoteague today, but how about this one? This is from a balcony outside one of the rooms at Comfort Suites Chincoteague Island Bayfront Resort. It's just one of the many aspects of a stay at an award-winning resort.
It's a place to stay that folks have frequented since the doors opened in 1999. DelmarvaLife's Katie Zerilli takes us there now to show us what makes this spot simply unforgettable.
A welcoming wonder on the waterfront. For 23 years, Comfort Suites Chincoteague Island Bayfront Resort has added loads of luxury to folks' experience of this treasure of a town.
We have a suite arrangement. It's not just a premium bedding. You're getting an entire suite that opens up with a living space and your private waterfront balcony that overlooks the Chincoteague Bay.
A bay both beautiful and oftentimes busy.
You have people that are just on their boat and just enjoying the harbor. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful.
Heather Williamson is the resort's marketing and events coordinator. Hospitality is in her heart.
It's a mission for me to be able to go and bring alive memories that last for generations.
They make that happen in many ways. First and foremost, the ample amenities.
We have hot daily breakfast open until 11 a.m. Then we have our 24-hour fitness center, our indoor and outdoor waterfront pools, and they're stunning. You're able to go and grab into the spa section too, so you'll be able to get some wine, sit back, and just relax.
Heather says both of these pools are heated, so the luxury lasts through the fall. I have got the perfect vibe here at the outdoor pool. We've got a palm tree over there, coconut in hand, my feet are in the water, and so far I haven't had to worry about being splashed. Ah! Of course, the bay offers options for waterfront activities as well.
So we do fishing and crabbing. You can even do it like yards from your suite, which is one of the things we advertise because it's just unlike anywhere else on the island.
In addition to amenities, visitors can count on top-notch customer service. This staff, of which many are longtime members, is committed to going above and beyond to create customer contentment. For instance, if they find out there's a birthday, you can bet they're going to make it a big deal.
You know, at the end of the day, you can't take anything with you when you go, but a lot of things and experiences are stories that have been told for generations and generations.
Perhaps a new story starts here.
We do intimate bayfront wedding ceremonies, and whether it be an elopement to 175 guests, we do it all. You have the Chincoteague Bay in the background, and it just turns into a timeless scene.
They've got space for other special events, too.
We do a lot of corporate retreats, and that is housed in our Mallard meeting room, and it is in our hotel, but we're able to do board meetings, birthday parties, bridal showers, all encapsulated in there, which is really nice.
While they're, of course, proud of all the happenings here, they encourage guests to take in tons around town.
We have boutique shopping that are just strides away from the resort, and we're able to see a lot of local eats here in the area that are unlike anywhere else on the coast. Then we also have our nature tours that are in season 2.
Speaking of unlike anything else, how about this presidential suite?
So the presidential suite is one of our deluxe rooms. So we have 3 of them on the property, and it is just something that you have to experience once. You walk in and you're greeted by a nice leisure walkthrough, and then it opens up into this big king bed. You have a nice L-shaped couch with a flat screen TV, the soaked jacuzzi tub, and then this breathtaking view because you're able to walk out on the porch and it's wrapped around, and it just encapsulates you.
This presidential suite is absolutely breathtaking. I'm excited just to sit here and soak it all in.
Hey, Katie. You can eat that?
I thought so, but I guess you can have it.
Okay.
Heather is also proud to say the resort has acquired a Ring of Honor award for their hospitality. That happened last year. She should be shouting that from the rooftops. That's awesome.
And all those views. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're going on an island cruise next where you'll have the best seat in the house.
Time to get up close and personal with the Chincoteague Ponies. I'm Katie Zerillian. Coming up next, we're bringing you on a cruise to get you in the action.
Can't wait for that. DelmarvaLife will be right back.
Here's a question for you. How do you get this close to the prominent ponies of Chincoteague? Answer, by hopping aboard DAISEY'S Island Cruises. The business has been around for nearly 3 decades now, offering folks the opportunity to experience the world of Chincoteague from the water.
DAISEY'S Island Cruises has been family operated from the get-go and has grown to become the largest boat tour company in the area. And Master Captain Scott takes DelmarvaLife's Katie Zerilli and us by boat to check out the spectacular sights and sounds of this astonishing area.
A front row seat to Chincoteague's best show. That's a feat folks can expect when they get on board DAISEY'S Island Cruises.
Our number one goal is to get people close to the ponies.
Master Captain Scott Landolt, also the company's owner and operator, says it's been a family business since its inception about 30 years ago. He himself fell in love with the ways of the water when he was young.
I was out swimming in the ocean, and dolphin literally came up around me, and I reached out and I was able to touch and hold on to these dolphin. And since then, I've pretty much been obsessed with the water, you know.
And so he believes the best way to behold this area is by boat.
I don't think you can experience Chincoteague unless you're on the water. You know, I mean, Chincoteague itself is a beautiful town, but we're water people.
Water people with ponies in their past.
If you go all the way back to pretty much the beginning of this place being settled, farmers would put out cows, sheep, pigs, horses, you name it out here. So there was always a roundup of sorts happening.
As well as, of course, their present. And being in their presence is powerful.
You can't help but feel joy when you're out here. You can't. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I mean, we have ponies 3 feet from us sometimes.
I just want you to see just how close we can get to these ponies. Take a look at this. This is Wildfire, and she is a true Misty descendant. And I'm so close, I can hear her chewing, and I feel like we could have a full-blown conversation. Wildfire, how's it going? She's busy eating, but wow! Here's a moment we were happy we weren't too close to. A stallion showdown.
They are talking right now. They are talking. You have to remember that they're wild ponies, and so sometimes they're going to act wild, you know?
This was wild, all right. Scott says the odds of us seeing something like this, astronomical. Because it's nature, you just never know. No two cruises will be exactly the same. What they can guarantee is experienced captains who are going to go where they've got to go to get you the sensational sights.
It does take a lot of knowledge. I'm not saying we don't bump bottom occasionally, we will scrape, but you know that's part of getting you close.
And if by chance you're not a pony person, these cruises can still capture your heart.
The birds, just the feeling of being on the water, the air, I mean, it refreshes you, it revitalizes you. It changes your perspective on the world sometimes, just being out here.
DAISEY'S Island Cruises is the only tour company here that runs year-round, and they've got their reasons.
Chincoteague has something to offer all year long, and people forget about that. You'll come out here and yeah, okay, there'll be snow, it'll be cold, you'll have to bundle up, but can you imagine seeing these ponies in the snow?
So many stunning sights to see. Scott remembers one particular day on the water witnessing dolphins with a family.
Man, we were just having a blast. The dolphins were just everywhere, and I pan over and I think they were starting to get seasick because I was paying way too much attention to the dolphin.
His enthusiasm only adds to the experience.
Anytime I get this close to any of the wildlife, I get super excited.
So, whether one has a passion for ponies, a need for nature, or a simple wish to be on the water, all aboard DAISEY'S Island Cruises.
And Scott says the easiest way to book a cruise is to do so online. And you saw how close they got to the ponies there.
Basically reach out and touch one of them.
But you shouldn't.
I know you shouldn't, but you want to, you know?
Exactly. DelmarvaLife Small Town Series Chincoteague. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning for DelmarvaLife is brought to you by Maryland Relay.
What a show.
I know. Are you ready to head down to Chincoteague?
So you know how everybody thinks that we're just reading off of this? And I don't have anything to read. I'm just typing things that I have to remember. Take Kendra here, go to dinner here, all that. That's all the notes that I took today.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely want to make sure you check all those off.
Absolutely.
All right, well, tomorrow we have an incredible story about a man who says watching DelmarvaLife gave him his life back. Actually, the credit goes to Dr. Ashley Adams of Delmarva Acupuncture and Wellness. We're going to hear this incredible story.
I can't wait to hear that story. Right now, it's time to send you down the hall to the Newsplex for the WBOC News at 6.
And we will see you back here tomorrow.